Next up, a man I think all of us know from his distinguished service to the United States, well, in a number of different capacities, but particularly memorable was his time as the Director of Central Intelligence under the Clinton administration. Jim Woolsey has volunteered to talk about a particular problem that I think is sort of emblematic of what we are now confronting from China in terms of its business operations and technology activities. Jim Woolsey, please join us to talk about 5G.
Thanks, Frank. I wish we had only one major undertaking to deal with that we face from China. I'm afraid we have at least three. And at least two of the three meet Sun Tzu's optimal description of warfare, in which you win without having to fight. Now, one that we might lose, and the previous speaker did an excellent job of laying this out, so I won't repeat it. One that we might lose by fighting if we are insufficiently prepared and insufficiently trained and insufficient amount of reserve capability and all the rest. That is a serious problem. And we need to deal with it and make sure that we could win. Now, this next time around, if it should occur, it won't be as straightforward and as quick as, say, the Gulf War was in 1990. We will have certain disadvantages, and they've been outlined here, and we need to deal with those. But there are two others that we need to pay attention to, and those are both extremely serious. One is that it is not necessary for a country to attack using a nuclear weapon by launching and targeting and re-entering and hitting a particular target with a nuclear weapon or any other kind of weapon. It is perfectly easy, and indeed the Russians did this in 1957, to launch a satellite. And if you put it in a polar orbit that crosses a single place in the United States, let's say Omaha, a couple of times a day, and it has a nuclear weapon in it, even a very simple Hiroshima-style nuclear weapon, nothing with enhanced capabilities of any kind, and that is detonated tens to hundreds of miles above the surface of the Earth. The long and short wavelengths of emanations that can come from that can both destroy our electric grid and each of our electronic devices that we all live with. It does not need to be accurate. It does not need range. It does not need any of the things that the press and many experts say it needs. It needs only to get into orbit, a problem Russia solved in 1957. So, there is electromagnetic pulse, and Peter Pride has forgotten more about this than I know, and many of us in the room would know, and I'm sure he'll talk about it later. Second area that we have to deal with, that we are almost completely unprepared to deal with, is 5G. We have to be able to turn away Chinese domination of our internet and our overall capabilities, our servers and everything else. Through Huawei and through other paths, they are embarked very heavily on that effort. That is a loser for us in every way one can possibly lose. And let me give you an example. It is as if it were, say, 1910. And families were just starting to get automobiles. The Model T had gone into production, and it's a new idea. Every family could have a car instead of a horse and buggy. What an amazing thing. But all we had by way of roads was mud tracks across fields, because that's all you really need with horses. Then, all of a sudden, a Chinese guy shows up in Washington and holds a press conference. And he said, I want to welcome America here to the 20th century and tell you something. We are delighted that you are going to be involved in trying to use automobiles. You need roads for that. You need city streets, you need major roads, you need freeways. We're building those now in China. We know how to do it. We have patents on all ways to do it, and we have dominance of all the technology of ways to do it. And we want to welcome you to contracting with us so that we may put down an infrastructure for you. We'll let you know within the next month or two what your tolls will be every time you get on a road that we have built, what your costs will be. They'll be rather substantial. See you in a month. Thank you very much. Welcome to the 20th century. That is facing us. And every purchase of Huawei materials, everything that is being done by people who have blinders on with respect to what the Chinese are going to be able to do if we don't stop them, everyone who has blinders on better take them off. Thank you.